Hello. How's it going? We are that and then this. Huh. I wonder what these do. Alright, so that one is kind of like how quiet it goes, I guess. Hey, Atsuki Shasta Kilrathi, how's it going? I'm fiddling with those noise settings. I was listening back to the stream yesterday. It sounded okay-ish. It had these weird full like cutoffs of audio, and I don't know. It kind of let's the microphone is pretty good when it's not. Anyways, doesn't really matter. So some topics. Give me some topics. Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's do something. Let's do something. Something. Whatever you want. Hey, Franzane. Franzane. Oh, I forgot to make coffee. No. Ice Warrior. That's pretty cool. Insect Princess. Nice. Let's see. Let's see which one the dice is rolled to. (1940s) Ice Elf Gangster. You're not making it easy, are you? I mean, there's a point where throwing too many eggs in a basket just becomes chaos. Right, we got it's 10 past. We got 3 topics, so we split the dice in two, which is 1 to 2, 3 to 4, 5 to 6. So let's roll. 2, which is Ice Warrior of Shartha. No, wait, 2. Yeah, yeah, right? Ah, confused. I heard Art Station. 1 second. Art Station off. Hey, Zelin. Good morning. Yeah, you should have gone Lantern Animal, but you did get the Lantern Animal last year, right? Ice Goose. Ice Warrior by Sharth. Hey, Tormod. Yeah, you did. We did a combination, didn't we? Let's see. Let's go to Firestarter. You see that one? Lantern Animal. There's the Lantern Animal mixed in with um Communicator of Darkness or something like that. Oh, I don't remember. Something of darkness and Lantern Animal. But today I'm gonna do Ice Warrior. Hey, Quentin. What up? How's it going? Busy bee, eh? Let's see. Okay, let's start the timer. Ice warrior, ice warrior, ice warrior. Okay. Let's go. I got in a picture, kind of. Oh, what's the pose? Okay. I had to, like flip. If you imagine like a movie, like on YouTube, if you go to the time bar and just hover and you get a picture, and you move and you get a picture, that's what I did with this concept. I kind of like no, yeah, okay. I was trying to find the pose about like how the ice warrior should be standing, and I wanna make it like an as if the ice is a disease on a night. Hey Janae, how's it going? Good morning. Like a medieval night kind of thing. So that's kind of where I take warrior. Ice warrior crushed. That's third. Oof. Hey Llama. Good morning. Yeah, so I wanna, I don't know, go valley range today. Try to make the decisions early on, and kind of mold the painting. Making decisions kind of stand by the decision so that the I don't shift around too much or like muddy the water by going over the same space. But I can already notice, like I discussed proportions on Monday's stream, which didn't end up going online because it's just one massive 5 GB file at the moment. But I did talk about proportions and how they influence the whole painting. And the more insecure the base is, the harder it is to get right, and you're gonna have to like spend time adjusting and all these things, and it's not gonna be right. So I think it looks like he's shitting himself. Not good. I'm gonna adjust that. So one thing I think I gotta practice just in general as an artist is going with what's there and making sure, because like watching other artists that are very good illustrators, what they do is that they redo the brushstroke until it's just right. And I know what I do is that I paint and paint and paint until I get it right. And I think maybe I need to start pacing myself differently. It's something I'm going to play around with. Obviously, it's going to be hard to break because it's in, like now, it's in my nature to paint on top instead of redoing. And I've seen a lot of other artists quite successfully like redoing the brushstroke until it's just right. I think in the end it's a cleaner picture, more solid forms, and I'm assuming it's something I should practice on. Or maybe it's just not my style, but I think that that's a incorrect thing to just go like sweep it under the carpet saying it's not my style, because it's about technique, not about style. It's about one of those kind of fundamentals, um, which I talked about on the longer stream after Monday's warm up, about like practicing fundamentals are so important. Hey, boss, how's it going? Eternal Lady. Happy New Year. Welcome back. Eric, well, how's it going? Hey, Dame Deviant. Lama, yeah, I think so. The thing is with habits and stylistic choices, right? And all these things we do daily as artists, because we practice not only the act of creating art, but we're also practicing the things we do to create the art, right? And it's really hard to be aware of what you're doing, if it's right or wrong. And like in this instance, like I'm talking about brushstrokes and how I have I paint on top rather than redo the brushstroke, and I think it's going to be hard to change because it's so ingrained into my approach that's that I'm gonna be struggling a lot with remembering to take a step back and redo rather than mush around. Like, I think one important thing to do in terms of people redoing the brushstrokes is that they think more clearer what's needed. And one thing I do is that I don't really think what's needed until I see it, right? And then when I see it, it's like, oh, yeah, that's correct. And what happens is that I do a lot of painting fast in order to get stuff done fast so that I can see when it's right or wrong. And I kind of know, like, okay, I'm going to have to change. Like, now I know that this shoulder looks broken. Like, the depth is wrong. There's not the not correct light on that shoulder. So I would go like, okay, how? And then I would sample, then I would paint it until I see it correct. But what I think I gotta do is think ahead. Okay, the shoulder is that direction, the highlight should be up here, so let's start like working towards that end goal rather than visually making it correct, like that brush mark by mark rather than preemptively thinking what needs to be done. Zeolin, yeah, the thumb war link or URL on Discord. It's a really I hadn't seen it before. I saw someone on Facebook talking about it, and I was like, "What's that?" And I clicked it. And I was like, "Yeah, this is really good information." Zeolin, yeah, absolutely. I'm definitely a discovery type artist, where I visually explore things, and that's why I'm also a bit like I'm thinking about me as a painter and my style. Like that's one of the comments why I did one of those comments was like maybe it's my style that it's I paint on top all the time. And in a way, yes, it is my style because I love doing it, right? I love seeing what comes out. I love carving the paint out of strokes, so it becomes like clay. But that being said, I think I can maintain that carving feeling, but just be more aware of what I'm doing. And I think with enough practice, what I will take out of it is gonna be still my like painterly style, but a lot cleaner, or more readable. Or controlled. I don't know. I'm gonna think about it while painting for a week, maybe, or two. Hey, Wanamir, how's it going? Hey, Lama. Yeah, exactly. That's a real it's a valid point, and also not everyone enjoys watercolor for that reason, for that reason alone, right? Like, I don't want to paint watercolors because it requires you to plan ahead, so that you know what you're doing. So each brushstroke is calculated, so that the process is already defined. And I can see that as well. I can see why a lot of people don't like that fact of how that's done. You know, me being one of them. That's one of the reasons why I don't do watercolors. It's because it's so process heavy, and it's so. In order to get a good result, you need to plan ahead, and I'm not a plan ahead person. But maybe I should be. Maybe I need to practice that. I don't think. I think improving my planning ahead abilities can't be a bad thing. It's very true, Lama. But I also think that there's something to be had from it. There's something to be taken away from that fact of how they work. Um, so I think I'll be focusing a bit on that, because there's some artists who just have this. Well, first of all, their process is great. Process, I mean, which steps they're making to or taking to make art, right? And when you see their step by steps, these very process savvy artists, it's like, yep, 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 boom, clean, strong work. Um, which is quite interesting to see. But a big part of why I paint is the process of painting and exploring. But maybe I just need to separate fun from work. But then, will I have fun working? Hey, Captain. Boss. And Eric. And Captain Jetlag. What up? Eric. Yeah, exactly. Undo and digital is really counterproductive, I think, in that sense. Amir, yeah, exactly. That's a really good point, and I think there's some who made it here. Like traditionally, you could experiment and you could practice, but it would take longer and you would need to calculate a lot more because there is no undo. There is no paint on top and indefinitely. But like let's take that example. If I would be a fine artist or using traditional medium and my painting on top all the way, all the time, and seeing what's being made and reacting to it in that sense, without really making a decision, I think my paintings would end up really ugly really fast. It would be just a mush. So I think naturally I would need to start planning more with if it would be traditional media. And there was a guy on Monday when I streamed longer. I think it was a guy. Don't remember the name, anyways. But about why I didn't zoom in. I don't remember who asked, but and I did an analogy of well, you don't use a magnifying glass on paper, right? You don't zoom in on the piece of paper when you're drawing in your sketchbook. Yeah, you maybe lean in a little bit to see closer to the paper, but nothing stops you from doing it at this level, right? And I think that's also one of the bad things with digital is that we can zoom and be like, oh yeah, look at all the crispness, and it, you know, might not be too, it might be wasteful. Ricky, yeah, absolutely. But that's one of the positives is that digital painting, it won't cost you an arm and a leg. It's the paint is instantly dry. You don't need to wait. You can scrap a painting, start fresh. There's no need to wash pencils or pen brushes. I mean, um, nothing, right? You can just nope. Or I can take a section, warp it, change it, as if I would have painted it from scratch, right? And in that sense, digital is super powerful. You can learn a lot faster because there's zero downtime. I mean, yeah, exactly. But I think it's an interesting thing. I think because my painting style is very kind of very traditional, right? I paint like I would paint on traditional media to some degree. Obviously, I'm adapted to digital means, but my paintings are very similar in the sense that they're very like carved and marked. No smooth transitions really. I love that like chunky brush marks and so on. Even my oil paintings and so forth are that way. Like I like brush marks to indicate details and so on, rather than spending a lot of time rendering those details. I much more prefer kind of marking them rather than fully exploring them. But it's an interesting thing, I think. And gotta adapt your approach regardless. I mean, it doesn't hurt to plan ahead. I think. can't deny the fact that knowing what you're doing, you're gonna get to the goal faster. That's, I think, something I gotta this year be a little bit more conscious about, is slow down to speed up even more. 2018, I was focusing on that as well, in terms of mental projection of where I'm going. Obviously, all the warm-ups have helped significantly, but I also practiced it professionally in terms of design, and like, okay, I'm gonna think about the design before designing, instead of, oh, I design on the fly, it'll solve itself, and usually it does solve itself. But you don't practice this kind of conscious aspect of it. You do it a lot of subconsciously, and I mean, it gets the job done. But as an artist, I don't think you will improve. But it's like teaching. If you don't know what you're doing yourself, how can you teach someone else to do it? And that's the downside of kind of reactive, only painting the way in a subconscious manner. You're not aware of what you're doing. Like, that's the basics is like, okay, I'm painting and I'm looking at the painting and I'm adjusting the painting as I go along until it's right. Then I'm just using my subconscious to say, yeah, that's correct, stop painting. But if I practice the conscious recall of going, okay, what's missing? What do I need to do? What's the value? And I think you're learning better, faster. I don't know. I mean, I think biggest difference is that I can't just react, like just paint until it makes sense. So that would mean I have to take a step back, and it's going to be awkward in the beginning. Ricky, yeah, exactly. That's a good point. Atsuki, yeah, exactly. That's. I think it's. I gotta start doing that a bit more, I think. Hey Lama, yeah, exactly. I mean, you would get a good result in the end, but the road there would be, it would be trickier. And there's a time and place for everything, you know. Maybe it's good that I, for example, if you take me as an example, maybe it's good that I know how to just kind of react subconsciously, because I can lean on it. I can rely on the fact that I'm very honed in that sense, and and maybe not so honed in planned painting, because I can see on a lot of other artists when they're painting, it's like, this is definitely not what I'm doing. You're taking a long time to get to a decent result. But generally, these illustrators, mostly illustrators, not so much designers, but illustrators, their end result is, for me at least, much stronger and better planned, and it takes longer for me to get to that finish quality. But I can get there. Obviously, I can get there because I'm no beginner at this. But there's levels to everything, and I think one of the points I've gotten to now is I gotta yet again go back and look at my process, my approach, my theory, and kind of rationalize um, the steps I'm taking to get to a painting. I do that now and then. It's like, okay, I revise how I paint. Right. Usually, it always happens in January after not painting for a month, and then I go back to it, and I have a clear head, and I have a bit of a distance to my own art, and I can look at it and go, yeah, this is my weaknesses, this is my strengths, these are the things I gotta work on. And I think one of those things I gotta work on is more consciousness, kind of deliberate decisions. Thinking takes effort, yeah. Zealin. The idea of how the shield is that his arm is like that. And another thing I know I gotta improve on, which I realized a little bit, is even though am a character designer a lot of every day, I noticed a lot where people are um, they're more illustrator than designer, but they are still good designers. When I work together with them, like on the same project, and the clients share the art, the more illustrator type artists present their art. They spend more time on presentation, where a lot of times I do the presentation quite minimum, and I think I gotta start thinking a little bit more um, like full picture wise. Like how should I present it? In what way? Make it a little bit snazzy. Not so much for the art director, but everyone else but the art director. And that's something I noticed last year, and I kind of started doing, but I gotta do more of. Um, and I think is important, but not do like a big project of presentation like portfolio, um, but like, let's say the background I added. like the way it's constructed. You know, it adds impact to the design, not necessarily imperative, but it does affect how we look at it. And I think that's I gotta be more aware of it. Time's up. It was a big retrospective rant today. Interesting. My brain chose to rant about my own process. I think I gotta add some last minute magic to the, because, you know, Ice Warrior. Bandido, thank you very much for the follow. Captain Jetlag, yeah, I know the feeling. Who can we raid? Who's doing something today? Yesterday we raided Tim Remmers. The taxes looks as messy as always. Let's raid Christopher Kent. Repay the favor he raided on Monday. Anyways, thanks everyone for coming. I'm gonna do the outro, then I'm gonna switch the raid over. So prep. Have a fantastic day. Good night. See you guys tomorrow. Yeah. Introspective day today. You guys are the best. Have a great one.